Starfleet Underground. Every week, we'll take a look at the latest Star Trek news and then check out a current or classic episode of Star Trek. Our captain and number one get a special Hollywood sneak preview of Picard Season 3. Hey, we're spoiler-free thanks to Section 31. Also, we watch Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. Enterprise gets stolen, Klingons get killing, and Saavik's fingers get fingered.
Seriously? They went on a date. 2 tribbles along with a couple of dots. They were having martinis? Tribbles don't drink. Well, I don't know if they do or not. And okay, 007, you went with the other dot. What happened to the other ones that were supposed to be doing maintenance when you were so-called on this date? What do you mean they were doing a search for Sprocket? No, the movie was a search for Spock, not search for Sprockets. Okay, that's... All right, well, were you successful? What do you mean a date ended well, you got lubed? What the hell does that even mean?
Wait, say what?
Sounds like a good date to me.
The date was successful, guys. God, why do you do this stuff just before the show starts? All righty then. Okay, you're the reason why we don't have any... What? What do you mean, why does it rain? You have logic. It rains because God is crying. Why is he crying? Probably because something you did.
It's so messed up.
Because you set fire to the rain.
The meteorologist in me is, well, I don't have one, but it's very upset.
Okay. Oh, the light is on. Okay, before we get started, this program is not for children. If you're under the age of 18, go away. Come back when you're older, because this is not your grandpappy's podcast.
Come back another day.
So this isn't good. So you will not be hearing conjunction junction. What's your function from us?
Hooking up words and phrases and clauses.
So no. This is another broadcast of Starfleet Underground. We're here with the full complement. We don't have any guests because we couldn't bribe anyone last week. So you have me, I'm Captain Nathan Adams of this vessel, and we have my wonderful science officer here.
Hi, I'm Heather Ferris. I'm the science officer. And did you know 77 came up to me asking me for a love potion? And I'm trying to tell him that's not how it works. And he's like, I don't care. Just give me something that will knock him out that I could take advantage of him. I'm like, that's not a love potion. That is the opposite of a love potion.
So that explains why he ran out of my quarters when I was playing that old song, Love Potion Number 9.
He got the idea from there.
He actually thinks it's a real thing.
Oh, jeez.
For someone that's connected to all the worldwide galaxy of information, he comes up with some doozies. Speaking of a doozy great first officer...
I am Patrick. I'm number one. I'm the science, not science guy. What am I?
You're the science guy?
I don't know what I am today.
Insane in the membrane.
He's Patrick, the science guy. You're taking over for Bill Nye.
I'm the computer guy, the foreign species liaison, and number one.
And apparently in the science department now. Does that mean I'm your boss? Does that mean I get to tell you what to do?
No.
Damn it.
I'm a higher rank than you are, so.
Not if you're the science officer.
I didn't say I was a science officer. I said I was in science.
We don't pay for science. It's not worth much anymore.
A fight.
Oh.
Well, at least on 21st century Earth, it's not.
No.
Here's somebody who's worth their endowment in gold. My chief engineering officer.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rocky, engineer of the show and the ship. And this lovely little video, you guys... Well, it's more of a video of stills, but it's a video of you guys going to the premiere of the 3rd season of Star Trek Picard.
That was so cool.
There's a video?
I'm confused because it says there's 2 different lines. One line says there's 1,050 views, and the other line says there's 2,949 views.
I know. I saw that too. I was like, what the hell?
Just do the one that's higher.
There's like, so what is it, Elon?
Probably one view is the retweet views, and the other view is probably the generic views. How many times we get shared?
I'm laughing at because Elon apparently was upset. His ratings went down in Twitter, his engagement stats or whatever. Something went down, and they analyzed it for him because they have all the stats. It says, actually, you're just not as popular as you used to be. And that was actually what the data showed. He's not as popular as what he used to be. And
I bet that person got fired.
He fired the people that told him that. That's what the fucking data says. You're firing people because of the data that you generated. I just like... Elon, what the fuck? Are these stories real? Because that's just amazing if they are.
Wow, that's just a man baby right there.
Yes, 100.
Well, I mean, yeah, it doesn't make him look good, does it?
God.
100%.
No.
Meanwhile, we're shooting balloons out of the sky. What's going on with this planet?
And I told you guys not to send that probe down to Alaska to check the snow thing. And if you did, make sure the cloak was engaged. Did you? No.
Oh,
so now
shit.
they shot it down and we got to beam up the parts.
I forgot.
So when they go looking for it, they don't find anything.
And then they blame China
that.
for it. At least they blame China for it. I'm glad they didn't blame me for it.
Yeah,
I'd
well,
rather
right
than
now,
blame
because they don't
China.
have anything to do. Yeah. Well, they got confused because you put some weird GLaDOS symbols on it, so they think it's from China.
Here come the test results. You are a horrible person. That's what it says. A horrible person. We weren't even testing for that.
I was just having fun and trying to paint.
Well, apparently your painting is like your cooking.
So that's just, yeah, they're all confused.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, well, before we get ready to get really into it, we got to do the bills. I know we don't know supposed to have bills, but since we are broadcasting in the 21st century, there's bills. So this show is being brought to you by our wonderful Patreon people. And thank you so much for donating, because you actually help keep us afloat and offset the cost of putting on the podcast. You listen to the podcast for free, but it is not free for us to put it on. So thank you so much. Also, that supplements anything you buy from our store. We have swag on the lower decks there. We got all kinds of fun stuff you can purchase. As well, I'm getting to you. Just teleport away. Teleport. Oh, yes, I'm going to ready to tell you. You're jumping the gun. We're also brought to you by Section 31. So, yes, they're the ones that gave us this wonderful ship, which we named the USS Butler in honor of a fallen crew member.
We miss you.
So,
Miss you, Fred.
and we miss you a lot there, Fred. And I still hear your voice every once in a while. When we do something, I can hear you now. Actually, the reason was...
I miss him so much.
So
He did that so perfectly.
he really did. And so it was really cool. But before we get ready to jump into everyone's favorite part of the show, no doubt, number one, we have any corrections?
Let me check subspace. Nope, looks like we're all clear.
Once again, flawless victory. Now we're going to present you with all the information that you can find north, east, west, and south of the Gamma Quadrant. Starting off with my science officer. What type of news do you have today?
Mortal Kombat.
Finisher. Normally you only hear that on a honeymoon night.
That's what 007 said to, what was her name, 069?
I never hear that.
There was a guy who posted on Instagram that his neighbor was being particularly loud and they were going for a long time. So he banged on the wall and yelled finisher in his Mortal Kombat voice. And he got quiet for a second. And then he heard the guy scream back, flawless victory. And then like 2 minutes later, he says, round 2, start.
Oh my God.
I was in tears. I just thought that was so funny. Oh
so
my
perfect.
God, that was so funny. Yeah, so he said that he actually loves his neighbors now.
All you need is love.
So,
You breeders.
yeah, so what do you got here for us for news-wise, Heather?
Hi, Captain. So my news this week is a Pacific pocket mouse named Pat, after the Star Trek actor Patrick Stewart, received the Guinness World Record as the oldest living mouse in human care at the ripe old age of 9 years and 209 days. And he is currently located at the San Diego Zoo.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
That's real heavy news. That's hard hitting.
Oh yeah. I searched for a while for that one.
They actually discovered that they could reverse aging in mice as well, which is the next step before
Is
they
that
can
what
do
happened to
human
Pat?
experiments. No.
I'm not a mouse.
Pat's been around for a while.
I'm a rat.
No.
You are a rat.
Well, that explains how sometimes I am not an animal. I am a pat. Okay.
A pat rat. Pat rat.
Pat rat. Oh, sorry. That was funny to me.
I'm the rat pack.
What news do you have?
Who, me?
Yes, it's your news now.
Oh, okay. Well, Nathan and I went to the season 3 premiere of Star Trek Picard on Thursday night.
How was it?
And we got to watch the first 2 episodes, and it was pretty freaking awesome. But what was really funny, though, is like there were like all these actors who were coming down the red carpet, and everyone was like, "Who's that? Who's that? Who's that?" Because no one knew who they were.
Who are these people?
We're like, they must be part of the new crew, but like obviously we don't know who they are yet. And one of the girls who plays she plays the bald Vulcan on the Titan. She had short, like a short white flat top almost, and you couldn't tell it was her initially, And then apparently, like the hottest guy on the red carpet turned out to be Britney Spears' husband.
Oh God, that guy, Sam Agardi or whatever his
he's
name
fucking
is.
gorgeous, man.
He's a Trekkie?
Dude.
I guess so, because he's hot.
Oh my!
That explains why. You just think of, you ever saw a show called Archer? Have you ever seen Archer?
Not really.
Yeah, I love Archer.
It's a cartoon about spy. Well, he looks like Archer with white hair.
Oh yeah, I could see that. Does he have white hair?
No.
Okay.
He had black. The Archer doesn't have white hair. The guy had white hair.
I'm confused.
Both Archer
So
and
Britney Spears' husband had white hair.
No, he didn't.
Who has white hair?
Huh?
No, he has black hair.
Are you high? What is your problem?
Which guy is you talking about? Because I didn't focus on the guys.
he had this like the striped suit on that kind of looked like a holodeck.
Oh, so no, I thought you were talking about the dude in the white tux, in the white suit with the white hair.
No.
Did all the girls that was standing around.
That was the wrestler Cody, Nightmare Cody or something like that.
Oh, I don't watch wrestling
So
anymore.
what'd you guys think?
Well, I'm confused because I thought it was a blue carpet this time.
Whatever, blue carpet.
It was blue, but even though they call it red, it was a blue.
What was it like? What'd you guys think?
The show or the carpet?
I mean, there were drapes too, and they matched. So
Not the carpet.
Well, it was
Were
kind
you
of
up
cool.
close with the carpet?
No, one of the people we know turned around and made a whole shitload of Picard masks on a stick with the eyes cut out.
our friend Jeff Gaunt.
Yeah, so Jeff.
Oh, one of the fans did that?
No,
Yeah.
yeah, and he made a bunch and he handed them all out, and so we was going to
Oh,
put them
cool.
up to our face when Patrick Stewart came on.
But I couldn't get him to look up.
He refused to look up. He just signed autographs with his handler behind him going,
Oh no.
2 more minutes, 1 more minute. You got to go. So,
Oh no.
But our friend Todd Stashwick, who's a friend of the show, is the new Captain Liam Shaw of the USS Titan.
he did a fabulous job.
Oh my God. Does he
did a
give
really a good job.
Riker and Picard the what for?
It's really, we
Ooh.
don't want to spoil it because Section 31 is glaring at me across the room.
No, I'm just saying he gives them the what for. But I'm not going to go, any further than that.
The only thing I can say without giving it away is, how when the show or when Next Generation, anytime anybody is a plan or TOS, it always goes flawlessly. Not this time. And so he did really, really good job. The bridge crew, as number one had said, they acted like they had been together for a while. There was really good synchronicity with the crew. So they did a wonderful job. And the first episode ends in a cliffhanger. And so did the second one. But I'm more glad.
Shouldn't they all?
I guess they should.
Technically,
But it was good.
because it's one story.
The tension between Seven and
Censored by Section 31. Oh, come on. Oh, my God. No, don't spoil it, but oh, my God.
Is this on the carpet tension or is
No,
this,
this is
in the,
in the
show?
in the show tension,
Okay.
like the tension between those two characters, you're like,
How about this? Instead of spoiling anything, how about just telling us, did you feel satisfied after watching them? Were you happy and did you feel satisfied?
I was brought to completion.
I know, I'm like, I had to get a towel.
Oh, my God.
But it was
I can't wait.
to give a little bit of a.
How many minutes into the first episode?
How many minutes
Like
did it
30
last?
seconds.
You didn't make it to the credits.
No.
Yeah, it was good.
And Amanda Plummer as Vatic.
Oh my God, she
She's
does such
so
a good job.
Good. You know who she is, right? Amanda Plummer.
Yeah, from American Horror Story.
No.
Chris Plummer's daughter?
Christopher Plummer's daughter.
Oh, so it's not her. No, that's Grace. Okay, yeah. She did an amazing job. She really ate that scene up that she was in. Can't spoil it for you.
Total baddie.
But to give you an idea a little bit of and this is, I think you see this on the teaser trailer that they give you. Riker goes up to...
Censored by Section 31.
So it's like, so you get an idea of...
That's in the trailer?
I think so. If it wasn't,
Yeah.
Section 31
I think I remember that.
Oh, man.
It was done well. It was...
and it's very cinematic. It's very movie. It's like a movie. Like, that's
you
how
had a
good
chance to see it better because you sat in the middle. I was on the corner.
I was on the end. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but no, you were towards the middle. I was on the end all the way to the right up front where I would never buy a ticket for a theater. But it was kind of cool.
close
I was 4 people away from you, so shut up.
How close
I was not in the middle.
to the stage were you guys?
The right
How close
side.
to the stage were you?
Well,
No, not right
how
or
they
left. How close
when
to
you go
the...
to the movie theater and you have the first 3 rows that nobody likes to sit in?
Mhm.
We were there.
Oh, you got
okay.
up the nose seats.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So you had to watch it lean back. However,
You were watching up everybody's nose. Okay.
my neighbor next to me was friends of the show, was Lana.
Oh.
And her
Yay, hi,
husband,
Lana.
they were sitting right next to me. So that was cool.
Her eyes, my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she's got those
Why?
contacts
Tell
that
us.
freak me out.
They were white contact
Oh,
lenses.
she has contacts.
Those
Yeah,
are
white
amazing.
contacts.
Amazing.
A number of the celebrities remarked on them because I was right behind Lana and Andy.
Did she wear them throughout the entire thing? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
What was her outfit? What was her cosplay?
She was in a lower decks.
Yeah.
And get this, when Tawny Newsome came up, the entire fan pen started chanting lower decks. Like
I saw a clip of that. That was cool.
Yeah.
She is really very pretty. So
Yeah, she is.
that was cool. And I don't know if that's a spoiler or not, because I think they mentioned in the trailer, the navigator or the person who pilots the ship is Geordie LaForge's daughter.
Well, actually, two of Geordie's daughters are in the series, but we only got to see one, and one of them is actually played by Geordie's daughter, Misha Barton.
Yeah, and it was really
Or
cool
Mika.
because
Mika. Is it Mika?
I think it is Mika, yeah.
Because the other
I'm sorry,
one is
there's
somebody else.
There's a Misha Barton who's a white girl.
Yes, so yeah, it's not,
not the same person.
Don't get them twisted.
no. And he would have had to have her when he was like 7. So that's not going to work,
Right.
But also the one that plays his daughter on the show as a navigator is also very pretty. She came up and she talked and it was engaging. Other people that were walking by, it was like, holy shit, what did I get myself into? No idea how rabid Star Trek fans are. But it was nice. They had a special area for us. They had like an after thing at, what's that place, that gaming place again?
Dave & Buster's?
Blowjobs? Oh, no, yeah, okay, yeah. They had it there, but didn't go.
I got to go check out that restaurant.
You didn't go?
No, didn't go because
we both had to go home. We had to work in the morning.
You guys are so youngster, you can't stay up past like 8:30.
No, I'm a boomer, so.
Ha! What time did it start and what time did it end?
It was supposed to start at 7, but we were there by, 3?
Well, I got there at 4, and then we got into the fan pen a little after 5, and we were in the fan pen till basically like 6:50, I think.
A little after 7.
It was like literally we got in there and sat down, and within 10 minutes it was on the screen. It was showing.
And this was the Chinese theater on Hollywood Boulevard?
Mhm.
Yep. They gave us a little thing of popcorn and soda so we can enjoy it.
Well, that's good.
So it was pretty cool. And they gave us a Dave & Buster's little thing we could use for free tokens and stuff. So, but I saw
only good for yesterday or
yeah,
on
so
Thursday.
it's a memento. So I have that.
Yeah.
So it's happy, joy.
And the value of the card was $17.01.
Get it? 1701.
No bloody A, B, C, or D.
17. Yeah. I saw what you did there. That was funny.
I was going to say, the other thing I saw on social media, I saw the picture with Sirach Lofton and Will Wheaton. I guess it was the first time they met each other.
Oh, no way.
That's incredible.
That is incredibly incredible.
Okay, so Will did a blog about the premiere. And at the point when Patrick asked everyone to, in the show to stand up, and, since Will wasn't in season 3, he didn't stand up. And Riker, Jonathan Frakes, looked over at him and he's like, why are you sitting down? He's like, this is not about, it's about you guys. He goes, no, it's about us. Stand up. And Will said he got really emotional, that he was included in the group, in the family.
Well, he should be.
Oh, man.
He is
That's
really
cool.
an
Will
awesome
is-
individual.
I really dig Will. Every time I see him make an appearance on something, he was in one of the promotional videos that I guess got passed around on Twitter. It was like a news story of the whole night. And he is so eloquent with what he is saying and speaking. He gets a point across quickly, clearly, and intelligently.
Mhm.
And it's almost entirely off the cuff. I don't think he rehearses those things. I think he's just saying them.
He's a treasure.
He's amazing. And
really
I just
is.
also have to shout out, I got a chance to see a little bit of him on Jeopardy. And while he didn't win, he was also quite entertaining off the cuff. It was great.
Oh, yeah.
He was making
the episode that
jokes.
I saw him on Jeopardy, like he just was so giddy, like to,
Big time. He was like living a life dream right there. Like many of us,
Exactly.
like if we could, and the other thing about Celebrity Jeopardy, I'm sitting there watching it and I'm playing along with the show and I'm like, I could go up against some of these celebrities. I could take some of them. I can't take the regular Jeopardy people, but the celebrities, I could go against the celebrities.
Well, if you ever want to be really entertained, look up SNL Jeopardy.
That's not that entertaining.
Oh my God.
It's
Some of them
slightly
are
funny, but
so
oh my
funny.
yeah.
I
Jeez.
enjoyed it. I also want to give a shout out to a friend of the show, Todd Stashwick.
Yay, hi.
His presence it was really good seeing his presence on the big screen. And he is just, even when he's being an asshole, he's charismatic about it. He just like him no matter what. And you can tell this guy's being a dick, but I like him.
I can't wait to see him as a Starfleet
really,
guy.
really good.
I can't wait because he was amazing in 12 Monkeys.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's just,
Yeah.
he's amazing
Love
on it too.
I'm working with his
Loved him.
team in order to get him back on the show. But
Oh,
we
yay.
have to go through. He's reached that level now where I can't just message him and say, "Hey Todd,
You gotta talk to his agent and
we got to talk to his peeps and get him.
Well, It's
get
just
him
like
scheduled.
Hollywood. You have
Right.
your people talk to my people and we'll do lunch.
Mhm. So we're working on it.
But he did such a good job. He did such a good job on the screen. And again, such a charismatic actor. I really, it was good to see him.
And sometimes when you introduce someone new on the show, they feel a little awkward and like they're not quite part of the scene yet. I mean, Todd was just like right in there. I'm like, I mean, it felt like he'd been there forever.
He was in Star Trek before.
Yeah, well, he was on
Yes.
Enterprise, but
yeah, he was.
So he did have that introduction.
But he also delivered some really funny lines. I
Yeah.
can't give the
Oh, yeah.
lines because it would spoil it. But some of those lines he gave was just hysterical. And the way he delivered the lines is funny.
Oh,
So there was a
cool.
lot of funny lines in it. He wasn't laughing, but everyone laughed.
So
because of how
he delivered it like
presented
deadpan?
Yeah.
no, more like Dick Pan.
Yeah. No,
That's very specific.
that phrase works. Okay. We've jumped all over the news part of it, but I'm going to make sure that my chief gets his news in. Chief.
Okay, so I was looking at Worthwhile News to report, and I didn't see this on my favorite news site, Trek Movie. They usually have all my favorite news stories, but this was kind of a weird week for news because of the Picard premiere. So I had to shuffle over to what people were saying on Twitter. And I wanted to thank the person that I didn't know, whoever it was on Twitter that added us in this. But apparently Strange New Worlds is going to come out with season 1's Blu-ray and DVD. That's not really the big news story. The big news story was that they're coming out with a 4K Ultra HD version of it on May 16th.
What?
Ooh.
So if you've already pre-ordered the Blu-ray or the DVD that's coming out March 21st, if you wanted to pixel peep all the 4K goodness, you'll want to get the version that comes out on May 16th.
Pixel peakness.
Yeah. People were a little like crazed, upset. I'm like, why are they so upset over that? Oh, I see why they're pissed off, because if they just ordered it for the one that comes in March and you got to go get the one in May that actually has all the 4K goodness, that's like, if you spend the kind of money to really, really appreciate a 4K screen, it's got to be a ginormous fucking screen and you got to sit pretty close to it to really get all that pixel goodness. That's better than HD, because HD is pretty darn good. But if you really want it in 4K, and you got to get the big screen, and you want to get the most uncompressed version possible. So you got to have the fancy Blu-ray player that plays the Ultra 4K discs. So yeah, I can see people getting a little passionate over this. So it's going to come out on May 16th. You can Amazon pre-order it for $58.99, and if you wanted to compare it to the regular Blu-ray. The Blu-ray. You want to get your Blu-ray on the standard HD version is $51.99. So when you look at the pricing, it's like, 4K over HD is like not that much more, which is kind of cool. And if you wanted to, slum it with the DVD, that's $34.95, which is actually on sale because it's normally $39.55. So that was me looking at Amazon's prices today.
I would love it, but you sit there and goes, I can't get into this movie because it's in 4K and his nose hairs is bothering me.
Well, it'll be interesting to hear reports on whose nose hairs bother you on Strange New Worlds, because I think they all have pretty nice nose hairs.
Yeah, they do. So it'll be really interesting. For those of you that listened last week, and if you didn't, why not? You should be listening to us every week. And if you are, thank you. Our homework today was in search of Spock, not sprockets, as the dots tried to say. So we're going to have my number one here give the synopsis and dive into our review of and talk about the movie.
Okie Dokey.
So I have had enough of you. Go ahead.
Okay, so Star Trek III, The Search for Spock, aired June 1st, 1984. The in-universe date was 8210.3, which was 2285. Teaser: Kirk is feeling empty after Spock's death. McCoy seems like he's got bats in his belfry. Saavik visits Kirk and asks why he didn't bring Spock home so his Katra could be saved. Kirk has said he made no requests, and then realizes that Spock would have found a way, and that's why McCoy is all daffy. Elsewhere, Valkyries, a Klingon female, has delivered the Genesis information to Krug. Realizing she has seen the data, he destroys the ship she's on. Enterprise reaches Earth's space dock to see the new USS Excelsior with its transwarp drive. Someone is in Spock's quarters. It's Wackadoo McCoy. Once in space dock, Admiral Morrow informs them that the Enterprise is being decommissioned and they will get an extended shore leave as well as a Starfleet commendation. Kirk says they must go to Genesis and Morrow refuses, saying that it's a quarantine planet now. Krug arrives at Genesis. The USS Grissom with David and Saavik arrive at Genesis and begin scanning. They detect a life sign and go to investigate and discover Spock's burial robe, but no body. They hear someone screaming in the distance. Kirk plans to steal a ship to retrieve Spock. The Klingons have learned about Genesis. McCoy ends up incarcerated after trying to hop a ship to Genesis. Lots of Genesis here. Lots of starting over our beginnings. Starting over beginnings. Our crew steals Enterprise after Scotty has sabotaged the Excelsior so they can't pursue. Saavik and David find a young Vulcan boy, Spock. The Grissom is destroyed by Krug's ship on accident. The Klingons beam down. Saavik learns why the Genesis planet is changing so rapidly. David used proto-matter in the Matrix, thereby making the whole planet unstable. Enterprise approaches Genesis, hailing the Grissom to no avail. The Klingons catch David and Saavik. Krug demands to know the secret of Genesis so he can use it as a weapon. The Klingons kill David. The bird of prey disables Enterprise, leaving them dead in the water. Krug demands that they surrender. Kirk agrees, setting the Enterprise for self-destruct, and a switcheroo as the Klingons beam aboard, our crew beams down to the surface. The Klingons have no time to escape as the Enterprise self-destructs. Kirk kills the remaining Klingons on the surface, then Krug beams down and orders Maltz to beam up everyone but Kirk and Spock. Kirk and Krug fight. Kirk kicks Krug over the cliff and impersonates Krug into having Maltz beam them up. They head to Vulcan, where the Vulcan priestess Talar will perform Fall Torpan to take Spock's Katra out of McCoy and put it back into Spock. Spock barely remembers his crewmates once he regained consciousness, but then he remembers that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one. I have been and ever shall be your friend, Spock says to Kirk inquiringly. Spock remembers him and the crew gathers round to welcome him back as the sun rises over Vulcan.
This was kind of a cool movie in some degree because we get a chance to see Christopher Lloyd, who's a really good actor. However, he just, you can see he enjoyed playing a Klingon. You know, somebody didn't obey his orders. He disintegrated him right off the bat.
He was hanging around Uranus a lot, so that's why.
So
he was a phenomenal Klingon. These Klingons scared the fuck out of me when I was watching this movie, especially when they pulled out that fucking knife.
I love Christopher Lloyd, so don't get me wrong. But I feel like the voice that he used for the Klingon was the same voice for Back to the Future. So I kept thinking Back to the Future when I was watching this. And it would have been really nice if he had used...
Well, that's just his voice. Did you ever watch Taxi?
He's the same way
Well,
in
he
Taxi.
should use like a more gravelly voice. I mean, he's an actor. Gravel.
I guess
Gravelly.
because he wanted to show. But then that dog,
Like Batman.
that poor crew member, it's like, clean up after the Targ. It's like, feed him.
That was funny because they feed him. I was just like, yeah, but what happens when you feed him? The poop happens after. You got to clean that up too.
And Targ poop is nasty, man.
Oh, yeah.
What is he feeding him? Is he like supposed to kill himself so that way this monster can eat?
He's got Targ Chow sitting in the corner.
Well, he wasn't supposed to really disintegrate the crew member. What happens on the Klingon ship, you chop him up and feed him to the Targ. But that didn't, he
Or
didn't
you just
do
get
that.
you get Purina Targ Chow.
Oh my God.
There you go.
That
You
was
nailed my joke.
so
That was
bad.
awesome.
Oh my God.
It's available at any Petco.
Oh,
That's right.
you notice he hadn't even no sympathy for his wife.
No, he killed the bitch.
It was ruthless Klingon badassery.
It wasn't his wife. They were lovers.
He's got a lover on every quadrant. I mean, come on.
So you saw it.
He killed her because she knew, but then other members of his crew end up knowing and finding out. And he's like, yeah, you're okay to live.
Yeah, I know.
It's
it was
complicated.
Like, you saw it. And then she was okay. She goes, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have looked at it. It's like, so where's my reward? Oh, it's coming now. Your payment's coming now.
She
So
enjoyed
messed
that
up.
too much. If you're going to go out, might as well enjoy looking at this dude. It's
Oh
like,
my
oh yeah,
God.
it's coming, baby.
Yeah, and then that's killed her right off the bat. And the way he said it was like no remorse or anything. And all he was just like pity.
I'm picking you, fool.
Yeah,
Damn.
unfortunate. This is unfortunate.
This is unfortunate.
She's like,
She was a really good lay. Oh,
She
I
had her-
understand.
She had a trick pelvis. I'm going to miss that.
Oh, Jesus.
It's like,
well, when you have a double.
oh my
Oh,
God.
my God.
I
How
guess
about
that
John
would work.
Larroquette? John Larroquette as a Klingon. I when I saw this show originally, I had no idea who John Larroquette was. And now, of course, I know about Night Court, and I've seen John Larroquette over the years. And
Oh, is that where he's from?
that's, it's an old, you should know about Night Court. Night Court was a great show.
I barely remember.
Well, Night Court is back.
Is back.
It's redone, and it's funny.
And he's in it, too.
Yep,
Oh,
and it's
really?
also funny.
But John Larroquette was hilarious comedically, but also apparently badass Klingon. He was, I could hear his voice in some of the scenes. I was like, oh, that's John Larroquette. That's awesome. He's a badass Klingon, just like Christopher Lloyd.
He was Maltz. Oh my God.
He was.
Yeah.
I did not color me stupid, but I did not even realize that.
I had no idea. You can watch the whole movie and not realize it. And it was just
Wait.
like, oh, wait, that's John Larroquette right there.
Hold on a second. I have to close my eyes and lean back in my chair here and bask in the knowledge that Patrick had something wrong. He didn't get it.
I didn't have anything wrong. I just didn't know. There's a difference, you twit.
The wee man
So-
didn't get it. Look at him. Look at the confusion in his eyes. Delicious.
I thought the casting on Star Trek 3 was wonderful. They had a lot of great actors in this.
It was.
Did you guys see the Helmsman on the Excelsior?
Yeah. Miguel Ferrer.
Awesome dude.
Yeah.
He's been in my sci-fi genres for apparently since Star Trek 3 because I didn't realize. And then you go back and go, hey, that's the guy from, I love him. He's great. He's good in everything.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he passed away a couple of years ago, but he was still great in everything he was in.
That sucks.
It's unfortunately, Father Time will come and tap us on the shoulder to let us know death is around the corner. And that's for everybody. Sadly.
And that's not a Klingon thing.
No.
That's why I don't answer my door.
Yeah. Try not to.
If it's the man, they'll leave it there and they'll walk away.
Or death might
Exactly.
be disguised as a police officer who says he's wounded and needs to get in.
Oh, hell no.
For those of you that are Twilight Zone people, you remember that one where Robert Redford played the police officer. I don't know if I should go in and describe the episode or not, but it was really...
You've lost me already. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm lost.
Okay, in the Twilight Zone, there's an old woman who's barricaded in her apartment. She won't
Is
let
this the
anybody
old
in.
black and white ones?
Yeah, the old black and white one.
Okay, no, that's cool.
She won't let anybody in because she said that death is coming for her, so she refuses. And there's a gunshot outside. There's like a gunfire, and a police officer is over by her window. And you can see it's Robert Redford, and he begs her to bring her in so she can get help. Well, she opens the door for him and lays in the bed, and they start talking about life experiences and why she keeps the door closed. This is because she's scared of death. And he looks at her and he goes, well, I'm here for you. And you don't have to be alone. It's not scary.
I'm going to say, what point do they cut to black and you hear a scream?
No, you know what happens is that you see him, Robert Redford, and her walk out hand in hand of the door.
Oh.
And when the camera pulls back, you see her slumped over dead. It was a very kind of cool episode.
Oh, okay.
You know,
yeah,
so
he says he's there for her.
He is actually still Death. Okay.
Yeah.
So
He's
Death
just
came
dressed
for
as a
her.
police officer.
he just tricked her to
Okay.
get her to
Okay.
get into the house.
That's cool.
So it was a cool episode. Twilight Zone did some good ones. So you ever get a chance to catch that one? It's one of my favorites, along with the guy with the glasses.
Oh, that one kills me every time.
The guy with the library with the books.
Yeah, with the
Yes.
library.
Broken glasses. Oh, yeah.
It's not fair. It's not fair.
Definitely. But see, logic-wise, you just search all the eyeglass shops until you can find peepers. So
If
that
you
would have been
can't
good.
see, how are you going to find the eyeglass shop?
By feel.
And there's nobody at LensCrafters to make them for you.
Oh, that sucks. But anyway, like you said, there's good actors they have in Star Trek, and they were good in this movie.
Oh, yeah. And even the replacement for Saavik. How did that strike you guys?
I wanted Christy Alley. I was just sort of turned off by this.
Yeah, you know
new
what?
Saavik.
And that was my reaction, too, as a child. Watching it now, there's something about Robin Curtis's. She seems more Vulcan than Christy Alley did.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
she
she
did.
did.
Act a little bit more Vulcan, especially when it came for them doing the nasties.
They were. She was.
The finger
Oh
banging.
God! Should we
they
talk
did the-
about that?
She actually said that when they had to do the love scene, she asked the director, how should they do it? And he says, well, you don't want to have to get graphic, just do the fingers up and down. That shows intimacy and it's a lot more powerful. So that's what they did. They rubbed fingers and disappeared below camera. So, you know.
The whole thing was disturbing.
Did you notice who the director was?
Yeah, it was, yeah, he knew.
Leonard Nimoy.
Leonard
Yep.
Nimoy directed this.
So he told him, just use the fingers. And
Just use the fingers. That's
just
good
use the
advice.
fingers.
When in
Yeah.
doubt, just use the fingers.
He pulled her to the side and said, let me tell you something. You ever heard of a shocker?
Oh Jesus!
I liked it that when they got all hand grabby, they grabbed a hand and then still did the fingers. It was like, ooh, hot fingers.
This whole thing was very disturbing. So they are indicating that Ponfar starts at 7. So Saavik is going to have sex with this child.
14.
No, he was 14.
Yeah, he's 14 by then.
Well, yeah, they made the kid look older, so it wouldn't be so disturbing. But if they
No.
have sex every 7 years, does that mean that it starts at 7?
You know, if it started at 7, he probably
I think
had
you got to hit puberty first. Then after
Yeah.
puberty that's when it hits.
Wasn't he 7 when that was happening?
No,
No.
he was 14.
No, he had
No,
accelerated
because he didn't
growth.
look 14 when he started like being in pain.
The planet had accelerated growth. That's how come Spock was like old as shit by the time the movie was done. The planet had accelerated, and that's why it was a rapid thing. Because by the time they left, how many years did it went by? It was hardly no time when they left Genesis. And they land on the planet, and he's already like bopping around as a 7-8-year-old. By the time they find him and everything else, he's like in his teen years already. Prime breeding age for Vulcans, I guess. And that's why towards the end, when they finally delivered him and put the Katra back into him, Spock comes out looking like himself.
I still think he looked way too young for that.
It's possible. Depends. Maybe Genesis was like Kentucky.
Oh,
So
no.
changing the subject.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wait, I shouldn't have said that out loud.
But for everybody that listens to our show in Kentucky, hi.
I thought age of consent Kentucky is like 4.
No, stop.
When Spock left his burial robe in the coffin,
Yep,
he was just running around streaking naked, right?
Yep.
pretty much.
So streaking Spock. It was a streaking Spock. wanna see Spock
actually
Street.
is.
I'm sure you meant that to be funny, but it didn't land.
Streaking Spock.
Well, he'd leave streaks when he sits down.
Unless they're not
Well,
streaks
is that
in
a
the
freaking
underwear.
streak?
He hasn't had anything to eat, so there's nothing. There's nothing to.
We don't know that. He may
So
have eaten
you go
something
in-
beforehand.
So you go into the icy, cold, snowy part of the planet? Because that's a good idea.
I don't think he had a choice.
Well, he had to go because of those snake things that he, the Klingon grabbed, and he goes, "This is glorious. The planet has life," and he chokes the weasel.
That scene was awesome, and I wondered if it was planned, the subtitle they put in for that, because the creatures that evolved from the microbes in the torpedo tube. It's just a fascinating, really crazy thing. Then the Klingon walks up to it and picks it up, and it tries to choke him like a snake, and he's grabbing on it, and And then he reports to the ship, nothing's going on here. He almost dies by this thing choking him by him grabbing it by accident. He just chokes it out with his own fingers and throws it away. He's like, and that shit going on down here. Everything's fine.
When I have to admit, when I first saw that scene, the first thought is like, fuck, I didn't know Rocky was in this.
Jesus.
Well, he must be used to choking a snake.
Yeah.
I had to make up for the streaking Spock.
That's actually kind of still funny. Is that a freaking streaking fox? Okay.
Did you guys know the Genesis planet set on fire during the filming of this?
The set for it, yeah.
The set.
I was confused at this because I've heard Shatner tell this story about saving a set for one of the movies, and it sounded incredibly heroic and stupid at the same time. You know, wait for the fucking fire department to put out the fire. You know, they have insurance for this sort of thing, but he's out there with a garden hose or whatever and trying to put out some fire.
In the Kirk costume and the Kirk makeup.
Apparently right when they're shooting. And I didn't realize it was the Genesis set that was on fire. I thought it was a bridge set. I'm like, oh God, you have to save the bridge set. That's kind of important, even though they could still put another one. But it's the Genesis set. I mean, come on. They could just pull in a couple trees and do another one. It's like, but it was a pretty amazing story actually still to hear it. But I didn't realize it was for this movie. I thought it was a different movie.
You guys know what the themes are for this movie?
What?
Reincarnation,
friendship, sacrifice, and the importance of loyalty.
Oh, I thought it was reincarnation.
Well, it's true. Now, in the beginning, I think Leonard Nimoy did a really good job of sprinkling humor in it, because the way McCoy was at the bar had me in tears the first time I saw it, and the second time when the security guard comes out and he tries to do the Vulcan neck pinch, the fact that he sticks his tongue out when he's trying to squeeze the guy's neck, he's like, I just thought that was so funny. It's just the way his look on his face.
I love the dude he was talking to who spoke backwards. He was great. Genesis is planet forbidden. And they're talking about Genesis. How can you be deaf with ears like that? And the guy has the biggest fucking ears you've ever seen. And McCoy's shouting out his ears. I'm just like, and they're saying it so loud, people are turning around, in the bar, like, what the hell's going on over there? And he's sitting right next to the security guard sitting right there. Starfleet security sitting right there.
Section 31.
That was funny.
Well, McCoy has a thing for ears,
especially with big ears.
Pointy-eared bastard.
At least they weren't pointy.
Right?
What is the logic of drinking poison?
It's good to know Section 31 is immune from Vulcan neck pinches.
Right. Well, I think he wasn't doing it right.
The look on his face was still hysterical.
But the other great part was when they broke him out and Shatner holds out the Vulcan hand sign. He's like, how many fingers am I holding up?
That was hilarious.
It was so funny. He's like, that's not funny.
I thought
that was funny.
It was great.
And then you have little Hura when you could see the humorous disdain she had for this young pup. I want to go on a life of adventure. I don't want to be on the ass end of space. I want to do that. Your career is over. You've done all this stuff before.
And she's like, be careful what you wish for. You might get it.
Yeah, don't ask.
She's like holding her tongue. She wanted to say something so much worse than that.
Yeah.
And you know what you're going to do? You're going to get in the closet.
No, she's going to get the straps. She's going to get the ball gag. She's going to do an S&M thing.
No one should be made to stay in the closet.
I mean, if her wanted me to go in the closet, I'm probably going to go in the closet. I got to admit.
Just don't come out of the closet.
But it was funny. It's like, oh, you sure you're going to be okay? Oh, I'll have him eating out of my hands. I believe it.
It was a great scene. I loved it. And then Sulu, he blasted the hell out of that console and he called the dude, don't call me Tiny.
Oh, yeah.
And the way he did it with flair. He had that jacket that gave him the flair. Like
that was a crazy cool jacket.
Superhero.
They were talking about it in the commentary, and I'm like, wait a minute, look at that. He's got his arms are coming out of the sleeves, but not out of the sleeves, but the higher part of the sleeves, and the thing turned into a cape, and it was all leathery and cool. And the costume department on this show was just amazing. The Starfleet casual it was just so cool.
And again, don't call me Tiny.
I always attributed that to Decay and not to the department.
It might be.
I think it was his turn because last one, McCoy, I think, had the cape.
Okay.
So
Well, they all had cool ass jackets.
Yeah. But it was nice.
And then we had some tribbles spotted at the bar.
Yes, doing a double date.
Oh, that's why they went to the bar. They saw the movie with us.
You know, all you got to do is start with a couple tribbles, and next thing you know, you got a bunch of tribbles on a double date. How did that happen? They
wanted food.
They ate the nachos or whatever they were serving.
Yeah.
Well, that explains things.
Did you guys notice what Kirk, Scotty, and Chekhov's password was for the self-destruct?
It was an old school password.
It was a horrible password.
Destruct 000 destruct.
Oh, don't say it aloud. Alexa might be listening.
So Kirk had the worst passwords with 11A and 000. Absolutely the worst. Scotty had the second best. It was like a little better. It was 11A 2B. So it's like, okay, that's a little better. And then Chekhov had the best password with 1B 2B3.
I thought he was going to go, you sunk my battleship, but no.
If you wanted to blow up the starship, your computer could hack this quicker than you could say auto destruct. These are such simple passwords. I guess in the meat of the moment, and you want to blow up your own starship, you don't want to have to sit there with like a 19 long character password, right?
Yeah, but you also don't want people to hack it.
But it was still kind of funny because in the end, when they get on to the prize Enterprise and Maltz is like, yeah, there's nobody here, but it's counting. Counting?
Yes. The only thing talking is the computer and is counting down like, get out of there! There's 5 seconds left. You can't get it out. That was like badass. And then the worst thing happened. The Enterprise actually blew up. And that was probably the hardest part to watch in this whole film.
Yeah, and I cried in the movie theater when that happened.
It was devastating.
Now I understand where the Klingon warbird came from, or bird of prey.
Yeah, that's we should have started with the first movie first instead of we started with the fourth movie first, just to be fun, because that was the most fun one.
Now, for those of you who watched in order, now you know.
Yeah, that's where they got a Klingon bird of prey. And they must have had one hell of a time redesigning the bridge of that thing, because it was totally different in the fourth movie.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they had to be able to fly it.
We need more room.
Yeah.
When the Enterprise blew up, I
it
was
in
the
tears. Hardest, saddest moment. And I was really enjoying the look of all the starships in this, the models. The Enterprise was beautiful, even though it was beaten up. The lighting on it in this movie, the lighting, even in the starbase, it was gorgeous. And even with a shot when the Enterprise was blowing up, you looked at the underlighting of the starship, that blue-gray color was beautiful. And like, Enterprise looks so good, except its top just popped.
It does. It did.
And then the rest of it did. And it was just heartbreaking. So heartbreaking. And then you see it going through the atmosphere. And that was very hard to watch. And it's harder to watch now that we've actually seen like a space shuttle coming through the atmosphere like that and breaking apart. It was so hard to watch that now.
Also, wasn't there people on that starship? No one evacuated. Did they all die?
They were running a skeleton crew.
Yeah, they were running it with automation, and that's why they had so much trouble with this bird of prey. Normally, the Enterprise could have blasted that thing out of orbit, but they were running it with automation. And Scotty was like, "Yeah, I got the drives to work, and I got transporters, but I wasn't expecting to go into battle. He couldn't get the shields to raise."
Okay.
But there was the funny part even before that when you have Captain Smug on the Excelsior.
Oh my God, the Excelsior.
They're trying to get away. They go to transwarp and the thing sounds like a Model T jalopy.
Why is it got to be trans, huh?
Model T.
I love
it's
that.
Fabulous.
And Scotty said, "Up your shaft" to the turbo lift.
It was hysterical. And then the way it stuttered, it did a stop stutter. I was in tears. I thought that was so funny.
Well, I love the screen, the computer screen on it was like going to pieces, and it goes, "Good morning, Captain." It's like, it might as well have said, "Fuck you, Captain," because that was just as bad.
The whole system and reinitialized, and Scotty's up there playing tiddlywinks. He says they're not going to do anything without these parts. That was funny.
It was great. It was a great moment. And McCoy's like, it would have been nicer to know that ahead of time. It's like he's walking around with the guts of the thing in his pocket and nobody knows.
And then they couldn't put two and two together.
Although getting the space dock doors open was quite a moment of anxiety because it took Scotty a moment to talk about getting the password right. He could blow up the Enterprise pretty quick, but opening the space dock doors, what's the password for that? He tried 7 passwords to get the thing open.
Yeah, it was a little bit sphincter puckering moment because he's trying to get out of there and they just like barely make it out as the doors are opening.
I mean, the ship was pretty banged up, but you don't want to bend a nacelle go back and out of a space dock.
No.
Oh, one thing that I don't know if I should say it. It's not really. It's well, never mind.
If it's about Picard season 3, hold it.
You already, yeah, that's true.
Section 31 is here. I don't want them beaming to your quarters there, number 1.
I was just gonna say, well, the remember the trans villain from Strange New Worlds?
Yeah.
She was at the red carpet.
They were wonderful.
Last night.
Oh, cool.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I liked her.
Yeah, she did a really good job.
Look, I'll just say this. The opening credits for episode 1 is gonna yeah.
Okay, that's all you need to. That's all you need to say. Be careful. Section 31 is sitting there with the censor button, ready to go.
Yeah.
And to go on a little bit, excuse me, sadness part. Thank you. When he talked about either you do this now or one of these people are going to die, and the anticipation of Kirk trying to figure out who's it going to be, not to kill anybody, and he was getting ready to kill Saavik when he walked behind.
And
but
David,
David being heroic part of the gene pool from Kirk, jumped in and start to fight. And they wisely not showed it on camera. You see the knife go down and then the actual moment is blocked. You didn't see that part. But then as Kirk, the look on his face of wondering what's going on, then you hear Saavik's voice tell him that who it was. You know, that was sad. That's what I think gave Kirk the final motivation to do a boot to the head. So it was a sad moment.
Yeah, it was a lot of hard moments in this, especially after losing the Enterprise, and then you have that happen. I'm just like, well, he lost the Enterprise after that, so I'm getting my orders screwed up.
It was Kirk's Friday the 13th.
It was really bad, man. This was really horrible horrible stuff.
Yeah, I saw what Heather did. For those of you that don't know, Kirk's face is used for Jason mask. So, which is really funny.
Is that right?
They just turned it inside out and spray painted it. Yep.
Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
For Michael Myers.
That really is Kirk's face. Michael Myers' face is Kirk's face.
Nice. That is pretty nice.
So, but it was definitely, the movie in its entirety had humor. I can see why Leonard Nimoy was asked back to film more, direct more. Because
there were so many great moments.
Little humor sprinkled in it.
There were so many horrible moments, but there's so many great moments in it too. Even just the little, they get aboard the bridge of the Klingon ship and fine, I'll kill you later. And then it comes back at the end. You said you were going to kill me. I was like, yeah, whatever. I lied.
Which is like the ultimate, like.
It's a fuck you to Klingons.
Totally.
Yeah, because they
he's going to have a dishonorable death.
Yeah. That was funny.
And then the other one, McCoy, before they do the mind retransplanting, is asking him, and he says, I choose the danger. And he's like, after all I've been through, they're asking me about this now? Of course they're going to go with this.
The only thing that would have ruined the movie completely, and they didn't do it, and I'm glad, is if they had Christopher Lloyd's character, when they tell him to do something, Okie Dokey. That would have been bad. I take it none of y'all saw
that's
Taxi.
That's Kevin Pollak's version of it. He does his impersonations. Okay. That's, yeah.
I see. But didn't Jim used to go Okie Dokey in Taxi, Patrick?
I can't remember. It's been years since I've watched Taxi. So
has it been a long road?
You have given dishonor to your department. You should have known. Okay, I'll go to my second most reliable source. Lana, let us know. Did Jim ever say Okie Dokey in Taxi? But it is just, to get to the Genesis planet, then you find out that he did, like Saavik said, he did his own Kobayashi Maru. He used protomatter.
Yeah, the protomatter. If you're going to shortcut with things like, rebuilding planets, don't use protomatter. What the fuck?
And then how come his mother didn't realize that's what he did?
She was probably in on it.
Think so?
Yeah, she probably was in on it. If she was in love and dated Kirk, she probably has a bad streak.
It's just, there's something wrong with Carol Marcus. Maybe she overlooked it. I don't know.
So that means the Genesis planet is no more because it should have disintegrated then.
It was a pretty big fail.
It did disintegrate. We saw that.
And where was Dr. Carol Marcus in this?
I thought it was suspicious that Captain Kirk was the face of the Genesis tape.
Yeah, that was strange.
Like, why didn't they just reuse? They reused everything else from the Genesis tape. Why didn't they reuse Carol Marcus's explanation?
I guess she didn't want to work for scale. So
Could be.
yeah, because I was wondering the same thing. He's explaining Genesis, but it was her baby. So why?
I think what it was is the his debrief tapes for Starfleet, and they were intercepted.
Oh,
So he was summarizing
sense.
the summary from Carol Marcus's summary of Genesis.
does
So
make
it's
a
a
lot of
telephone?
sense.
But it looks like they're shot in the exact same place because the set units behind them were the same blinking things behind.
So they used him rather than ChatGPL.
Something or other.
Chat GPT.
Yeah, that's what you know me.
Nice.
I'm sorry.
My God, you were so stupid.
You just chat GPT. Yeah, you know me.
You know me.
You down with chat PT? Yeah, you know me.
So stupid.
Oh my God, that is really stupid.
It's very stupid. However, that being said, I met someone on the red carpet who actually listens to us, and they said
Lana?
that they enjoyed. No, not Lana. Lana and
okay.
and them. But it was another fan, and they said they enjoy us tremendously, that we're so irreverent and
We're
funny.
irrelevant. Come on,
Yeah.
we're
And we
irrelevant.
can be
irrelevant. It's
And
totally
we have-
irrelevant.
Well, we
have
kind of
great-
are.
We have great synchronicity on it. I think it was
That's
Ed that told
Rocky's
me.
editing.
That's all in editing.
Yeah, I told them that, but they said no. How we flow together and how we barely have any other spots, and
Yeah, it's totally
the
editing.
synchronicity that we have is really good.
I only have flow once a month.
Yeah, that means
Oh my
You should get a
God.
doctor look at that because you shouldn't have that.
Jesus. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for the compliments.
well, I think again they don't realize that a lot of us, you really think that we're real, but we're actually not. We're using another Chat GPT program that Rocky puts together and uses AI to get our voices to match, and he does the whole show himself. I'm actually
You
not
joke
here.
about that, but it's only a matter of time before we get replaced by a robot.
It actually, there's a bunch of voice actors are getting together now to keep that from happening. Because
Jesus, don't give 007 that idea.
oh, great,
All he can do is beep, so I think he'll be fine.
that's all I need for him to have a thing, and he comes into the room. It's like, "Hi, I am Patrick. Oh, you must give me more memory." So I don't want that to happen. Okay, that failed trap.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching this movie a couple extra times with the commentaries. The one with Nimoy talking about directing this movie, and there's various parts in the movie where he talks about how nervous shooting some of the scenes were. It made him directing because he'd never directed a film like this before, and he's like, "Does this really look like it's going to pass? Like it's gonna, it's not going to look completely ridiculous?" Because a lot of the shots, on the Genesis planet, that wasn't on a location. This was all on a soundstage. They brought in all those plants from somewhere else, or they're plastic. All those rocks are recycled over and over again in future Star Trek shows. I'm amazed at the amount of recycling they did in the Star Trek universe. But to be there to shoot it and like, really, is this going to work? This is a pretty big action sequence. And you're sitting there with 35 millimeter cameras and you're shooting stuff and you only got so many takes at it. I can relate to how nervous that would make a first time director, let alone a seasoned director. And then the shots on Vulcan where, they're shooting with the beautiful red backgrounds. And that was just a standard cyclorama that you see in any theater or stage. It wasn't anything fancy. It certainly wasn't the artificial reality backgrounds that they shoot now when they're shooting Strange New Worlds Vulcan backgrounds, which look phenomenal, by the way. But they were just doing it. They didn't have any of the fancy electronic stuff. That was literally just a piece of cloth with some lights on it in the background. And he's like, "Really? This is going to work for this big dramatic scene? Okay, we'll shoot it anyway." And I dug hearing that because he was taking risks and making things happen. And it was really always about the story and the acting that really saved him.
And it also sounds like he trusted his team, and I think a lot of directors need to trust their team.
And he had a great team to work with, too.
And I agree. And the pressure to make sure that the film comes in under budget or at budget is always a big pressure thing of what you can do and get away with. That's why Star Trek's famous for recycling everything. in order to keep costs down, in order to fabricate things, which was pretty cool.
And the other thing about, I kind of bag on them a little bit about the recycling, but it's kind of cool. But when they recycle the dialogue, the phrasing, ship out of danger, needs of the many and needs of the one outweigh the needs of the many. I thought that was a beautiful way to wrap it. I thought it was beautiful to come back from Star Trek, the end of Star Trek 2, with the end of Star Trek 3, the inverse of that, with Kirk saying it to him. That was beautiful.
Well, speaking about recycling, they recycled the whole last part of the last movie into the first part of this movie.
That's called a recap. Is it previously on Star Trek?
Why are you watching this movie if you haven't watched the last movie? Never mind.
They had the producer on with Nimoy on the commentary. He says, this is an old TV trick. You always got to recap the previous episode just so people who missed it can catch up. It did set the tone, though. It set it. This is where we left you, and now we're taking it off from here.
When it first started and the screen was so small, I thought something was wrong with my screen.
Yeah, I was like, did I download a wrong version?
It did give a feel that way. I guess what they wanted to do is introduce you to the whole cinematic thing.
Oh, and then it was in black and white, and then the color started to get a little bit color, but the wrong color, and then it kind of settled in. Yeah, it was a little like everybody working with their analog TV sets are like, what's going on with this thing? Tapping it on the side.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that Leonard did for his first movie, actually, to direct?
For his first movie, he did great.
I thought he did great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and that's how come they brought him back to do others. And that so begins the quote-unquote curse of what Star Trek movies are good. This is only the odd ones.
No, the even ones.
The even ones, that's right. Only the even ones did good. Because then William Shatner sees him do it, and he thinks he can do it, and he directed. Which one was that, Pat?
William Shatner directed one?
Yeah, he did the one with the Saavik. What one was that?
No way. So Leonard Nimoy directed one, and Kirk's like, I have to do that too.
Yep.
Jeez. Oh my God.
Yeah, he did the one with Saavik. Which one is that?
That's
there?
5.
Number 1.
Yeah, it's 5.
And what was the title?
Undiscovered Country?
No!
No, the Undiscovered Countries with the Klingon.
That's 6. The Final Frontier.
That's 6.
Oh, that's right.
That's it.
Sorry.
The Final Frontier.
I'm listening to all the people screaming at their podcast playback devices. It's 5. It's Final Frontier, you crazy people.
Yeah, the Final Frontier, where the best line in that whole movie was, what does God need with the starship?
Oh, yeah.
But that's for a podcast on another day.
Oh, that's true. What the hell?
Sorry.
Were you up playing with your tribbles?
Yes.
The left and the right one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. He starts talking about Lefty.
goodness.
He's not talking about what you think he's talking about.
No.
Just a little bit tired. Sorry.
If you're really good, I'll put pictures up for everyone to see Patrick with his tribbles.
Ooh la la.
Okay, this movie looks like we're tying it up in a nutshell here pretty early. I'm sending my first officer out to do finances for the ship. So he's going to take a look at how many things that we sold in our merchandise tourist store, as well as all of the other things, and see if we can actually put on another episode next week. How does it look? Can we put on another episode next week? I'm talking to you, Tribble Man.
Sure. And next week is going to be Star Trek Picard, episode 1, season 3.
Oh, so make sure you see it. And
Woo-hoo.
if you need to see it, okay, I just got to put it that way. I wish we're jealous because you guys are going to see it for the first time, and we saw it, and we have to wait 3 weeks before we get a new episode. So there's
Yeah,
that.
that's
We do that.
Also,
You guys don't.
It's the bitter surprise of getting the surprise sneak peek, and then you have to wait for the rest of it. I'm blown away at the people on Twitter saying, I saw 6 episodes. And I'm like,
Yeah,
really?
some people
What are you
did
going to
see
do for
more.
the next month? That's crazy.
Yeah.
How did they get 6?
Laura saw 6 episodes.
How did she get 6?
But she's in the industry.
You got to watch out for people who are,
Oh.
reporters. And
Yeah, she's in the
okay.
industry. She gives reviews, and she's really, really fun person. But she saw it. That being said, friend of the show, Mr. Stashwick, is going to be in the ready room with Will. So look forward to that. So just don't watch Picard,
Yay.
but make sure you watch the ready room also, because then
I
you'll
love
get a
Ready.
treasure, and you see why we love Todd.
It'll
as
be
much as
interesting.
everybody who meets him.
I wonder how he'll welcome in the family because Todd's actually in the family. It's been a long time since we've seen him in Star Trek.
Well, it's been a long road.
Yeah, he was on that show.
He was a Vulcan, right?
Yeah.
Getting from there to here. So, but that was a one-shot deal. This time he's in a series, and I am going to be bold enough to say that he's going to do such a good job that Paramount may tap him on the shoulder to have another series.
So what you're saying, he doesn't get killed off in the first 2 episodes? Yes!
I hope, no, did I say that?
Spoiler!
Look, put down your fucking phaser. I see you have it on kill.
Section 31's going to talk with you, sir.
It's supposed to be on stun. What do you mean you didn't make a mistake? You think you can kill a captain of a starship and you can be...
Captain?
Oh, shit. Now we have to figure out how to end the show without the captain.
Oh, number one, you're going to have to end the show.
Can we send security to the captain's quarters, please?
No. We're not going to waste any dots going over there.
Captain!
Let him rot.
Oh, my... Okay, I'm going to go help the captain.
I'll be there to help you, too. Patrick, wrap up the show.
Hey, guys. Well, thanks for listening, and we will see you again next week. And remember, if you're not having a good week, make it so.
If you're not having a good week, make it so. I don't think that's the line, sir.
Well, whatever. Just don't have a good week. Make it so. Isn't that it?
That's close enough.
I don't know. Like, why would I pay attention to what he says?
Oh, damn.
And if you can, support the show by going to patreon.com/Starfleet Underground. Lots of perks to choose from, and you might even like some of them. Starfleet Underground, beaming into a podcast feed near you. Log on to our website at starfleetunderground.com and send your comments and questions to thecollective@starfleetunderground.com. Follow us on Twitter at StarfleetUnderG and on Facebook and Instagram, we're Starfleet Underground.
See, he's there. It's zombie captain.
Zombie captain. Oh, no.
Mommy, I cleaned my room, Mom. Can I have my milk and cookies?
He got the heavy stun setting.
Can I have my milk and cookies?
I think we need to transport him to sickbay.
What? Is the show out of danger?
You saved the show, sir.
Yes, you saved the show. We're good.
Show out of danger.
The needs of the podcasters outweigh the needs of the listeners.
Yes. The crew.
Or the one.
Go see the EMH, sir. You're going to be fine.
Okay. Remember, if you're not stunned, make it so.
Oh, God.
See you next. I can't feel my face.
That's we can't see it. Thank God.
That's when you get stunned in the face.
Why is my lip so?
It'll come back. It'll come back. Just give it a few minutes.
I'm going to take a picture real quick.
My babies.
I have to remember this.
It's number. Who spilled water on my jacket?
That's your drool, sir.
What?
You drool heavily when you're stunned.
Did I say something wrong? There's no section there. Okay, I think we're done now. Bye-bye.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye. Where's my milk and cookies?